Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Transport Evolved. I hope you're well on this wonderful Friday. I've decided to do the thought of the day early today because we have two other shows that we put out on a Friday, and frankly, I don't want everybody having to watch them all at the same time. Is having to have bad grammar? Probably. So you're taking the train. Well, that does kind of make sense given the problems that you mentioned. And yes, it's a good reason. The cost of those rapid charging on a long distance trip is a good reason why charging so much for rapid charging doesn't make sense from a business model because people won't use it. Especially if you consider that that cost is just using VAT. It's not taxed in the same way that we tax petrol. If we taxed the fast charging at the same kind of price and rate as, say, gasoline is taxed or diesel is taxed in the UK, then we'd be paying really high prices for rapid charging. And I wonder how long it's going to take before the government starts doing that with rapid charging, you know, levying taxes to pay for roads and things against electricity rapid charging. It scares me. Interestingly, I also looked on Google Maps and to see how much it would cost you in fuel if you took a compact car, and according to Google it would cost you £44 at £1.40 a litre. So it doesn't add up, does it? Onto the database. We don't have a database, Mark. I know that there is technically one, but let's not pretend we have one. And there are lots of sites out in the UK that are either incorrectly documented or they're not documented at all, or as you pointed out, the charging network that installed them can't tell you diddly squat about the charging network. And I think this is a symptom of the fact that businesses have gone into the charging network world or electric vehicle world to try and make money, to try and capitalise on what is a very fledgling industry. And this is a symptom of what happens when you try and put in huge amounts of charging infrastructure before actually people have the cars and before it's really needed. When these charging points were put in, they put them in places where they assumed people would need them rather than places where people are known to need them. And if we took all the money that had been invested in slow and fast charging infrastructure and just put in rapid AC, DC, Tesla and combo CCS charging stations, then the whole of the UK could be covered for a similar cost, I would bet, by a government scheme than all these individual companies operating independently and fighting against one another and ripping out infrastructure and putting new ones in. And a lot of the data in telematics systems like Carwings is frankly incorrect. I've turned up at a charging station before that's listed on Carwings only to be met by a grumpy security guard who said that no, their charging station was behind locked gates, no, I couldn't use it, and the company who had it installed went bust 3 years ago. Single feature advertising. I thought the Nissan LEAF ad was a bit weird because they actually added extra noise to demonstrate how quiet the car was. But if I had to choose one thing to advertise, I would say that it would be the simplicity of ownership. You know, how simple it is to charge your car, how easy and simple it is to drive, how easy and simple it is to budget for the fuel. But other people have said in responses and in the chats to the video that they would highlight the cost of ownership, how cheap it is to run. One person said to me that they would promote the speed, the acceleration and the torque of an EV. And that came a close second, I think, for me, to the simplicity. But what do I want to talk to you about today, Mark? I want to talk to you about the Volt and the LEAF. You see, the sales figures are finally in for April for the US, and yet again, the LEAF has sold more cars than the Volt. And it seems that the Volt's sales in the US aren't really growing anymore, but the LEAF sales are. If you compare last year's sales figures to the end of April and this year's sales figures to the end of April for the Nissan LEAF, for example, the Nissan LEAF sales this year are a third higher than they were last, which is phenomenal. But my question to you is, does this mean that the Nissan LEAF is now becoming a more popular car than the Volt because people are suffering less from range anxiety? Is it because it's a better car than the Volt? Or is it because of some other force that I haven't thought of? I have a LEAF and I have a Volt, as you know, so I'd be keen to see what you think. Have a great weekend and I'll see you next week. Bye, Mark. Bye, Transport Evolved.